everybody. Today we're going to talk about the Chapter 3 analysis of a research article discussion. First of all, this discussion is used to assess your mastery or achievement of the student learning objective number 5, discuss the current research and methodological issues in the study of abnormal behavior. So you're going to find an article and you're going to give your classmates a succinct but detailed account of the reason for the research, the type or design of the study that was conducted, the methodology employed, all the steps that were taken to conduct the study, the results of the study, and the discussion section, which contains the relevance of the study, how that information is useful in the real world, how it's going to benefit the field of study, as well as it will contain the recommendations that the researchers make for future research, as well as any limitations they have for the study. First of all, you're going to search in the library databases. You're going to use either the Psych Articles or the Psychology of Behavioral Sciences collection to choose an article on one diagnosis that is listed in the DSM-5 TR. You want to avoid meta-analysis or review articles. The way you will know what those are is usually in the title it'll say a review of the research or a meta-analysis. The article you're looking for needs to have an actual research study. So they talk about how they gathered their sample of individuals, of participants in the study, and what did they do? Did they give them a medication? Did they give them a survey? So something is being done with that group of people. And then there will be a results section as well as a discussion or conclusion section. And I will show you that in just a second in terms of what that looks like when you're going into the library. You want to make sure you critically read the article. I suggest taking notes in the margins, writing all over it, which is what I do. And then what I do is whatever's like super important. Sometimes I'll go to the front or the back of the printed article and write notes as well. But you can also take notes on PDF documents when you're reading the articles, and I'll show you that. You are not going to summarize the article. You are going to paraphrase the information in the article. So you're basically going to tell me everything about that study in your own words. The methodology section, you should be able to tell me who the participants were, how they were recruited and from where, what criteria they had to meet to be in the study, what steps were taken to conduct the study, what was manipulated or measured, and how was it measured, or what did they use to measure it. You've got to be very detailed. Then the results section, I'm not so interested in you telling me the statistical results. You can tell me if a significant correlation was found between variables. Usually in the results section, as they give you the statistical results, then the researchers will say, so this suggests, and whatever it suggests. So that's the information you definitely want to be capturing. Also, when you get to the discussion section, you want to tell me what they found, how is that beneficial, and they tell you that in this discussion. You're not going to give me your opinion. You're going to tell me what the researchers said. How did their study benefit the field of study or whomever they were studying, and what were the limitations of that study. Your first post needs to be posted by Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. with a minimum word count of 150. You do not have to restrict yourself to that. You're going to use APA format for references, and I would like for you to list your source. So the title references have a reference for your source, and I would like for you to use at least one in-text citation and one parenthetical citation to show me that you know how to use them. And you'll only have one source that you're using. Between Thursday and Sunday, to earn the maximum points, you need to respond to 2 of your peers with responses that are a minimum of 100 words. You also need to bring in some information from an article and have a reference and have at least one citation. When you are going to be looking for an article, you will go into the San Antonio College webpage. I usually go to Menu, Library, and then right here, use a database to find articles. You want to go to the letter P, Scroll down. Here's psych articles, and here's the psychology and behavioral sciences collection. So either one of those you can use. You're going to click on it. And then here's where you will put your search words in this bar here. But you want to scroll down and you want to make sure that you click on peer reviewed, meaning that the research article was reviewed by peers in the field, usually anonymously, to make sure it met the rigor and appropriate methodology before it was allowed to be published. And put in from 2018 to 2022 to make sure that your articles are from the past 5 years, which is standard in the field. So you want to get here. This is where you would put your search terms. So just as an example, I'm going to put college and mental health and hit search. There's over 3,000 articles. And then so I'm going to narrow it down and hit prevalence and search. And so here is an article that you might want to look at just as an example of an easier article to read. You get to choose your article. Do not choose one that is very difficult for you to wrap your mind around. If you cannot tell me what happened in your own words, leave that article alone and go to another one. I just wanted to show you here how you have the option of an HTML full text. And if you click on that, you actually can scroll down and hit listen, and it will read the article to you. You can also click on PDF full text. And I believe there is I think it's a DC PDF reader that's free if you don't have a reader. If you do that here, you're going to hit download. You're going to need to save the article to your computer, and then it will open up in a PDF file. So now the article is opened in a PDF reader. In a PDF reader, usually you can highlight, which I've done here. And if you highlight something, you can click on it and write notes and post those notes. And then when you want to see those notes, you can click over here on comments and it will show you all of your notes. So that is a feature that you can use. One other thing I did want to show you is when we talked about avoiding a review or a meta-analysis. Usually in a review, it will say like a systematic literature review. That's going to be a key. Stay away from it. Also, it may say meta-analysis. And what that means is that they are gathering all of the research that's been done in a particular area and they're writing about it. So they're not really doing a study themselves. So your article needs to have the introduction, the methodology, the data analysis results, and discussion sections. So returning back to the article, you have an abstract that's going to give you a brief synopsis of what the article's background is, what the methodology was, and what the results were. But you need to read the whole thing. What I usually do is I read the abstract, and then I will flip to the end of the article and read the discussion or conclusion. So here's the discussion about the main findings, and which usually will put it in more layman's terms, whereas results are going to be more statistical, and then the conclusion. So I'll read that, and then if it's something I think I'm going to use, then I will go back to the front and read the whole thing. You need to make sure that there's an introduction, which gives you the background of the research in this area, and it will tell you what is missing in the research that is the reason that the authors chose to do this study to fill that gap. The methodology will be the steps that they took to conduct the study. It will tell you who is in the study, who the participants were, and how they were solicited to be in the study and what criteria they had to meet. There will also be usually an analysis, what they did to analyze the information. Then you'll go to the methodology, which will who the participants are, how they recruited them, whatever measures they used to measure the variables that they're looking at in their study. So how they measured mental health, how they measured or looked at internet gaming, socio-demographic information, and then how they did their data analysis, which usually will be termed results as well, analysis and then results. Then you'll go to discussion and then conclusion. One of the other things I wanted to show you, inside of the library page, you can also have it give you a citation for the publication. So I'm going to click on it, on the name, and over to the right, you'll see Cite. Then you scroll down to APA 7th edition, and here's the reference already formatted for you. However, this one is correct, except for you really don't need this 1019-4269. But a lot of times when you copy them, they will have an element that is incorrect. So you need to make sure that you understand how to construct a reference. This can be copied and pasted in. Now, if you were doing this on a paper, it is not in the correct format in terms of how it should be formatted. Your title will be references. Everything should always be double spaced, but what I'm going to do here is copy this again and paste it where it comes out correct, instead of being a screenshot. And then the other thing you can do in Word, kind of where mailing, review, and view is, there's an arrow here to open up paragraph settings. And then here under special, you can click on hanging and hit enter. That will give it the hanging indent. So the first line is always supposed to be left justified, and then the rest of the lines for a reference would be indented, and then the next one would go back out to left justified. For this reference, I'm going to show you how to do a parenthetical citation, which a parenthetical is used when you're not talking about the authors in the text. So if I said the research has shown an increase in mental health problems among students who use the internet excessively. And then I would put Stevens. And because there's 5 authors, I'm going to use the et al. There's not a period after the T, it's only after the L. That's very important to get. Now, if this reference only had 2 authors, it would be Stevens and Jones 2020. If it was 1 author, I'll give you some examples. Now, for an in-text citation or a non-parenthetical citation, this is when you're talking about the authors in your text. So it would be, if I wanted to use this, I would say Stevens et al. In parentheses, the year of publication, found that, and whatever it is. If it was 2 authors, it would be Stevens, and you spell out the word and because you're in a sentence, Jones, in parentheses, the year of publication, found that, and however you want to end that sentence. And if it was 1, it would be Stevens, 2020 in parentheses, found that, and you would keep going. So I hope that helps. Remember, do not quote material. There are specific rules in APA about when you can quote material. I do not want you quoting the material. This is to be paraphrased, put into your own words. So I hope that this information is helpful to help you find an article that makes sense to you and you can put into your own words. I hope this information was helpful. Make sure to read the directions thoroughly, and I'm sure you will do great. Thank you.